Portland is getting a new homeless shelter, but they're still hammering out the details of how it's going to be run. Good evening, I'm Pat Callahan. This is something the Portland City Council has been debating for years. Tonight, the council met in a workshop session to look for some common ground. It's the first time the topic has been addressed since the ground in front of City Hall Plaza was vandalized to say no one deserves to be out in the cold. No cap on the new shelter. Back in June, the council voted to approve a new homeless service center on Riverside Street in the Riverton neighborhood. Since then, councilors and members of the Health and Human Services Committee have been working on recommendations for how the shelter should operate. Tonight, that conversation continued as city staff, as well as a representative from the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, were on hand to answer councilors' questions. No changes were made to the resolution tonight, and much of the discussion was based on how other municipalities operate homeless shelters across the country. Portland Councilor Belinda Ray says she hopes the session gave the council the information it will need to take a vote on the resolution.
I am cautiously optimistic that when we vote on the 3rd, we will move the resolution forward, and that will enable us to move on to the next phase here, which is to begin looking at the planning and design process for a new facility.
One highly debated topic about that new facility, which will replace the Oxford Street shelter, is whether it should have a cap on how many people can stay there. The resolution calls for the facility to be able to match the average number of people who need shelter each night. Last year, the number at Oxford Street was 197. The highest it reached last year was 271. Many people in Portland say there should be no cap on the new shelter and that the building should be large enough to keep everyone out of the cold.
Well, a cap is an indication that only so many people will be sheltered. What happens, the question is, what happens after that cap is reached? Does that mean people will be on the streets? And if that's what it means, then that's untenable.
Councilors expect to vote on the resolution at their meeting on February 3rd.